Understanding artificial intelligence. AI is a branch of computer science that creates smart machines capable of human-like tasks like speech recognition, object identification, learning, planning, and problem solving. Remember the computer that outsmarted the chess champion? Or the one that controls your house lights? That's AI solving problems, just like we do. Our current understanding of AI is largely based on how it interacts with us and how it compares to human capabilities. Things like speech recognition and object detection are big in AI today. It's about the ability to absorb information, learn from it, and use it to plan and tackle future tasks, all very human like activities. This, in a sense, is the magic of AI. To understand AI correctly, we need to understand three concepts: different types of AI, different applications of AI, and different possibilities for the future of AI. Now, let's start with different types of AI. There are many different types of AI, but they can be broadly classified into four different categories. The first one is reactive AI. Reactive AI systems can only respond to the current state of the world. They do not have any memory or past events, and they cannot plan for the future. An example of that is a chess playing robot that only follows a set of logical instructions and reacts properly based on the opponent's move. The second type of AI is limited memory AI. These systems can remember past events and use this information to make decisions. However, they cannot reason about the future or understand the intentions of other agents. An example of that could be a maps application that suggests places to eat based on your previous visits. The third type of artificial intelligence is theory of mind AI. These systems can understand the thoughts and intentions of other agents. This allows them to cooperate with other agents and to achieve goals that would be impossible for a single agent. One way that theory of mind AI could revolutionize the way we interact with machines is by creating robots that are able to provide companionship and support to people who are lonely or isolated, or through virtual assistants that are able to understand our needs and provide us with the information and assistance that we need. The fourth type of AI is self-aware AI. Self-aware AI is a hypothetical type of AI that would be conscious and have its own subjective experiences. Suppose we have a personal robot assistant named Eve. If Eve were a self-aware AI, she wouldn't just follow pre-programmed instructions or react to our commands. Instead, she'd understand her own existence and have her own feelings and thoughts. For instance, if we asked Eve to fetch a book from the library, a regular AI would just calculate the shortest path and go get the book. However, a self-aware AI like Eve might think about whether it's a nice day for a walk, or ponder if she's fetched too many books lately and suggest an ebook instead. It's important to note that this kind of self-aware AI is purely hypothetical at this point, but some researchers believe it's a future possibility worth exploring. Now, let's dive to applications of AI. Artificial intelligence is not just about imitating human capabilities, but also about augmenting our abilities and enhancing efficiency in many different areas. From transportation to healthcare, financial services to customer support, and education to entertainment, AI's potential seems to be limitless. Here are some examples of how AI is being used today. Self-driving cars. AI is revolutionizing the way we travel. It is powering self-driving cars that can navigate roads and avoid obstacles autonomously, leading to safer roadways. Medical diagnosis. In healthcare, AI is making strides in diagnosis disease, often outpacing human doctors in accuracy. By analyzing vast amounts of medical data, it helps identify patterns and trends, supporting doctors in making more informed decisions. Banking and fraud detection. AI has matured significantly in the banking sector over the past half decade. From predicting potentially fraudulent transactions to determining loan eligibility based on various factors, AI plays a pivotal role in today's financial sector. Customer service and online support. Imagine a company like HP managing 70,000 plus help pages across 17 languages. AI steps in here, automating customer support and providing round the clock service, significantly reducing the cost and enhancing the efficiency. Education. In the realm of education, AI is enabling personalized learning experiences, adapting to each student's individual needs, and fostering a more effective learning process. Entertainment. Our virtual assistants like Siri, Cortana, Alexa, and Google are all powered by AI. With their voice recognition capabilities, they're like having a personal secretary at your command. And cybersecurity. In the digital domain, AI is our watchman. With its machine learning algorithms and vast data analysis, it detects anomalies and responds to threats, strengthening our cybersecurity measures. As you can see, AI has intertwined itself into every facet of our lives, enhancing our capabilities and reshaping both our commercial and business landscapes. The possibilities are immense, and they continue to expand with each passing day. Now, let's talk about the future of AI. When we think about the future of AI, it's really quite fascinating. We're on the verge of a time when self driving cars could be the norm. Imagine having robots at home helping us with tasks from making coffee to more complicated stuff. We're also looking at the rise of smart cities where AI runs everything from our phones to household appliances. Plus, robots are stepping up to do high risk jobs like bomb defusal, for example. As AI continues to develop, it is likely to have an even greater impact on our world. So, based on all of that, some possible applications of AI in the future may include automated transportation. Imagine a world where AI does all the driving for us. We're getting closer to a reality where self driving cars are a standard way to get around. This isn't just about cars, though. We're talking automated drones delivering our packages, AI driven trains ensuring precise, timely transport, and even autonomous boats and planes. All this aims to make our journey safer and more efficient, reducing human error. It's a massive shift that could redefine how we think about transportation. Personalized medicine. AI can be useful to analyze large amounts of medical data to identify patterns and trends that can help doctors diagnose and treat diseases more effectively. For example, AI can be used to develop personalized cancer treatment that are tailored to the specific genetic makeup of each patient. Virtual assistants. AI powered virtual assistants can help us with a variety of tasks such as scheduling appointments, making travel arrangements, and managing our finances. Virtual assistants can also provide us with information and entertainment, and they can even be used to control our smart home devices. And speaking of smart homes themselves, AI can be used to make our homes more comfortable, efficient, and secure. For example, AI can be used to control our thermostats, lights, and other appliances. And it can also be used to monitor our homes for security threats. And last but not least, artificial general intelligence or AGI. AGI is a hypothetical type of AI that would be as intelligent as a human being. AGI could potentially solve some of the world's most pressing problems, such as climate change and poverty. However, AGI also raises some ethical concerns, such as the potential for AI become self-aware and to develop its own goals and desires. AI is a powerful technology with the potential to revolutionize many aspects of our lives. It is important to be aware of the potential benefits and risk of AI and to use it responsibly. I hope you enjoyed this brief explanation on AI. In the next video, we will